Annyeonghaseyo, this is meowmurai. Let's check out Lovekami Healing Harem running on Nintendo Switch 2. Now, this one might be a strange one to look at on the Switch 2, or you might think it would be strange, but this game actually had quite a few problems with the performance. The previous two games, for whatever reason, didn't, but as soon as they introduced this last game in the Lovekami series, the weight of optimization, was not was not present here in Lovekami. Whenever you had more than one character on the screen, you would notice the frames would drop quite frequently, and certainly in three characters on the screen talking, it got to be to where it, performance actually was hurting quite a bit. So, I'm expecting this to be cleaned up. I don't know what happened with this game and why it performs the way it does on Switch 1, but hopefully this will be all cleaned up on Switch 2. So, yeah, let's check it out.
やっぱり私の居場所はここです。キラさんとくっついていないと正常に保てません。
You can cling all you want, but Kaidi's still got that death stare for you.
こら逃げるな、戻ってきなさい。ああ、怖い怖い。やっぱり生涯の伴侶に選ぶなら私みたいにか弱い女の子ですよね。あなたのどこがか弱いのよ。どっちもどっちって感じだよね。
Yeah, at this point in time, if you had three characters on the screen, even the blinking motions, they would hurt, and just even them moving side to side, kind of swaying, frames dropped quite frequently.
ということで、ここは消去法で私なんてどう？嫁とか妻はいろいろめんどくさいけど、妾なら後腐れなくお手軽にイチャイチャできると思うよ。
You're really good at squeezing yourself in like that, huh, Shion?
湯渡り上手ってだけだよ。
And with that, she came right up to me. Where's the option? Just close enough to be comfortable, but not. Whoops. The autoplay's going crazy.
お待たせ、アキラくん。
Let's see. Just close enough to be comfortable, but not bothersome. It was just like her. Since there was nothing to cook with, we decided to go out grocery shopping.
準備でき
Okay, so let's go back here. You both look great. I've only ever seen your goddess garb, so this is kind of refreshing.
そうですか？ちょっと地味じゃありません？それより、どうしてその格好のままなの？神社周辺ならともかく、 私はこの装束に誇りを持ってるんです。アキラさんだってこの姿の私を好きだって言ってくれましたし。
Yeah, it looks good on you, but I think you should get changed too. The other two were dressed down, so it felt weird having Yukari still done up like all goddess-like.
着替えないならあなただけお留守番だけどどうする？着替えます着替えます。もうアキラさんったらいつもとは違うビューティーな嫁が見たいって素直に言ってくれたらよかったのに。着替えるのはいいけど服持ってるの？ああ。
Yukari had shown up at the shrine with basically nothing to her name. Of course, she didn't have a change of clothes.
残念。服ならアキラさんのがありますからそれを借ります。アキラさんのシャツをこの私がまさに一心同体抱きしめられているかのよう。
Sorry to interrupt, but I don't think that's gonna fly.
じゃあ買います。売ってください。そういう問題じゃないでしょ。よければ私の服貸そうか？ああ、鼻で笑ったな。どうせ私はちっこいですよ。くっそー。
Let's just calm down, Shion. You're fine. A quick pat on the head, and she calmed down again.
こら、そこで何しちゃってるんですか？なでなでとか、アキラさんのなでなでは私だけのものなのに。よし、ゆかりさんには私の服を貸すわ。シオンをこのまま放置するよりマシだから。悪いけどお借りしますね。サイズもそんなに違わないと思いますし。でもその前に
Yukari's mood was quickly turning black.
余計な邪魔はしないでくださいよ。しょうがないわね。アキラさんに甘えるなんて100年早い。あ、また上からたらいが。
Shion's eyes darted upwards, but nothing seemed amiss up above.
なんだ、不発か。
Just when she thought the tatari had missed, it came back to bite her in the tongue. It could have just been a coincidence, but it felt too perfectly timed for that. Wait, was that the tatari? It was a pretty trivial happening, but it was so on point too. Intrigued, I turned my gaze Yukari's way and was she trying to conjure up a curse? She was definitely mumbling troubling things over and over again. Seeing her like that was a solid reminder that she was indeed a tatarigami.
許容範囲ってとこかしらね。私ばっかりたたり食らってる気がする。
So, Yukari borrowed some clothes from Kaide, and we all finally headed out to go shopping.
あの女の服なんて嫌で嫌でたまりませんでしたが、装束を脱ぎ捨ててアキラさんと触れ合うとまるで普通の男女のように見えますね。そうです。神様と人の許されざる関係ではなく、ありふれた夫婦としてアキラさんとデートしちゃうんです。素敵。興奮しすぎても震えが止まりません。なら無理しないで社務所で待ってる？そうそう、アッキーのことは私と楓姉さんに任せれば安心だから。そんなの安心できますか？もう油断も隙もないですね。ここはつかず離れずアキラさんのおそばにいなければ。
She snuck right up to me and slid her arm through mine for all to see.
ゆかりっちずるい。さあ参りましょう。
The place I always went shopping was a 30-minute walk from the shrine. We were certainly taking our time, but it wasn't all that bad. Here we are. This is the little place I always shop at.
商店ですか？
Yukari was a little puzzled at my choice of words.
商店っていうより直売所だよね。まあまあ、私たちにとっては一応最寄りの商店だから。観光客向けの休憩所兼売店という感じでしょうか。
Hey, you can pretty much... hey, you can get pretty much everything here. Fresh vegetables, meat, even fish. They even had most daily necessities. It was more convenient than most convenience stores.
ゆかりっちは知らないみたいだけど、田舎の観光地はだいたいこういう感じなんだよ。
These little stands started out selling local produce along with more touristy goods. They grew from there to almost becoming little markets in their own right. If you head down into Kamimori City, where the main shrine is, there are much bigger stores.
とにかく食材を買うならここが一番なんだよ。
おー、シオンちゃん、いいこと言ってくれるね。
丸沼のおっちゃん、こんにちは。今日はいいの入ってる？おすすめは何？
そうだな。柿なんていいのが入ってるぜ。ほら、味見してみな。
あんがとう、おっちゃん。
Mr. Manunuma cut up some persimmon. And not just for Shion, but for all of us.
甘いですね、この柿。サイズも立派よね。さすが丸沼さんだわ。
いやー、楓様にお褒めいただくとは嬉しいね。
He was lax around Shion, but in front of Kaide, he'd put on his best manners.
どういうことですか？
Well, she's a special goddess to the people of Kamimori. She'd been here ever since she was a Tadagami. Everyone had known her through the good times and the bad.
では、シオンさんは？
Shion hasn't been here as long. People know she's a goddess, but that's about it. The residents of Kamimori were well aware that Kaide had been a Tatarigami. But none of them knew what kind of goddess Shion was.
じゃあ、この大きい柿を一皿と、あと野菜とお肉と、それから。必要なものは私が選ぶから、シオンは金額交渉をお願いね。おーい、おっちゃん、いっぱい買うから安くしてよね。
Shion got along best with the people here, showing off a side of herself I rarely saw anywhere else. Thanks to her haggling skills, we got lots of groceries for a great price.
そうだ、アキラ君。ケンジのやつはしばらく戻ってこないのかい？
Oh, whoops. Not for a while, it seems. He said he'd been back for years, though.
どうしたの、おっちゃん。
いやー、そろそろ秋祭りだろ。やっぱり神森様抜きでやらないとダメかって。
The annual festival wasn't only held at the main shrine, but also out here at the other branches, too. It was nowhere near the same size, but for the local people, it was an important celebration of the harvest. Sorry, but I don't think I could do it without my parents around.
いや、しょうがないさ。今年は白糸のもみじ祭りだけってことにしとくよ。でも弱ったな。うちら年寄りはいいけど、若い衆にとっては貴重な出会いの機会だから。
それはどういうことでしょうか？
なんだい、あんたは知らないのか？神森神社の秋祭りで告白した男女は末永く幸せでいられる。そういう言い伝えがあるんだぜ。
These are the Shiraito Falls, Kamimori's most popular tourist spot. Since we'd come all this way, we decided to visit the falls. They were only 5 minutes away. This time of the year, lots of tourists came out to enjoy the red leaves. So, you back on Earth with us yet, Space Cadet?
ごめんなさい、アキラさん。ちょっと考え事をしていました。村人たちが待ちに待った豊作の祭りを今年だけ中止にするなんてかわいそうだなって。
She seemed genuinely sad for them. Yeah, I know how you feel. It wouldn't be impossible for me to hold the festival myself, but I was still in training. Pulling it off alone would put a little too much weight on my shoulders.
でも先ほどの丸沼市の話を聞いてしまうと、あっちゃんお祭り大好きだからね。氏子の皆さんの笑顔を見るのが私にとっても喜びだから、アキラさんなんとかならないでしょうか。というかぜひやるべきです。やりましょう。毎年恒例の秋祭りを中止にするなんて絶対ダメです。だって村の若い男女の出会いの場なんですよ。恋する二人が末永く幸せになれちゃうんですから。そうです。伝統を守るということで、私もアキラさんに告白して正式なお嫁さんとして周知徹底を。ゆかりっちはやっぱそれが狙いなんだ。ええ、そうです、そうですとも。いけませんか。恋する乙女はなりふり構っていられないんです。
The whole way home, I thought about nothing but the festival. I could just picture the disappointed looks on our visitors' faces. Hey, so, if I were to say I wanted to do the whole fall festival thing, would you all help me out?
もちろんです。アキラさんの望みなら嫁としてお手伝いします。私もサポートするわよ。普段はなるべく口を出さないようにしてるけど、今回ばかりはご両親の代理として協力させてもらうわ。私もいいよ。いつも迷惑かけちゃってる分、こういう時くらい村のみんなに恩返ししないとね。迷惑かけているんですか。いや、まあ無意識にだけどね。ほら、私ってば貧乏神だし。貧乏神
You could immediately drew away from her at that revelation.
あれ、まだ言ってなかったっけ。私は貧乏を司る神様なんだよ。通りで貧相な体をしているはずです。貧相じゃないし、私のボディは貧乏神とは無関係だ。なるほど。ではあなたは人力とは関係なく残念ボディなのですね。そうだよ。悪かったな。
She might not have the volume of the other two did, but she wasn't that bad.
とにかく私は貧乏神だから、知らず知らずに接した相手を貧乏にしちゃってるわけ。
Her divine powers weren't all that different from those of a Tataragami. She couldn't control it of her own will, it just happened around her. And she hated that, so she had ran away and wound up here.
そんなわけだから、たまにはみんなのために何かするのも悪くないかなってね。だからアッキーがお祭りをやるなら私も手伝うよ。私も同じよ。ゆかりさんは。もちろんアキラさんの望みが私の望みです。そういうことじゃなくて、あなた自身がどう思ってるかを教えて。私もお祭りがしたい。そしてアキラさんと幸せになりたい。
Everyone expected that answer, but no one called her out on it. Reasons aside, she seemed determined.
いいよね。私もおっちゃんたちの前でカミングアウトしちゃおうかな。なら私も。これもいい機会だしね。なるほど。私に勝負を挑むつもりですね。いいでしょう。返り討ちにして差し上げます。
And, like always, the three of them were working to outdo each other. But their competition would certainly translate into an exciting festival. Well, that settles it then. Let's have us a festival. I'm counting on you three.
ここで手早くくるっと巻いて、よいしょ。
Kaide definitely worked the pan and chopsticks to roll up the eggs.
顔に似合わず見事な手さばきですね。料理できなそうな顔で悪かったわね。
Not to back up Yukari or anything, but Kaide really didn't look like the type to be good in the kitchen. She still had the mischievous look about her from her Tataragami days.
姉さんは意外と家庭的なんだよね。
And especially good at cooking. Better than my mom.
そこまででもないわよ。
We might have made her blush, but her hands never faltered. The way she so expertly handled herself while cooking really made her seem like a perfect wife material.
私だってお料理には自信あります。それならお手並み拝見といこうかしら。一品お願いできる？一品と言わず、アキラさんの口に入るものはすべて私が作ってみせましょう。シオンはどうする？手伝う？私はパス。どうせ足引っ張るだけだしね。
Shion and I left the kitchen so we wouldn't bother them.
鬼の犬間になんとやらとね。
Shion went around unpacking gleefully, setting up her stuff just the way she liked it.
ああ、こっちは気にしなくていいから。アッキーも好きにくつろいでっていいよ。
Sounds good to me. Part of me worried about leaving Shion unsupervised, but I did as she suggested. A few minutes later, Shion had finished and was all settled in. Okay, so let's go ahead and save it right there. This is meowmurai. You've been watching. Can we get to the menu here? This is meowmurai. You've been watching Lovekami Healing Harem running on Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, so thankfully this is a game that does benefit from the Switch 2. Like I said, it was a little surprising when we first played this game on Switch 1 and had such bad frame rate issues, especially when there was more than two characters, or more than one character on the screen. So yeah, if you decided that you didn't want to play this or the frame rate drops were annoying, then if you have a Switch 2, you can come and return to this and then have a much better experience. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.